our alumni, who is going to share with us his experience and advice for our students. Thank you for making the time, Mr. Mohd Zain. Okay. Next, I would like to invite our Assistant Dean of External and Global Engagement, Technologist, Dr. Nur Azalia Abu Bakar, to start the session with a welcoming speech. Please welcome Dr. Nur Azalia.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Thank you very much, Madam Chairman. First of all, I would like to welcome and convey our gratitude to Mr. Mohd Zain bin Hassan, General Manager and for Regional Service Delivery Group, Ricoh Asia Pacifics, and also to all the students, all the alumni, and all the participants who managed to be with us for today's session. So as we know, today we do have the alumni sharing session, and this is the second time for this year. And the aim of this program is to hear the sharing of our alumni, what are their experience with us, and also how do they gain those knowledge while studying here and apply in their career. And might as well, our alumni can share their industrial experience and also give some advice to our students here and do some sharing. So we always welcome this kind of program, and we do hope that more alumni of FATIR and UTM will come back to us and giving back to us. Okay, I wouldn't want to give more talk here, all right, because here today we would like to hear from our alumni. And if you do have any question, I mean, to all the students and even for the researchers, lecturers in UTM, we would like to have this session as a lively session. Okay, over to you, Madam Chairman, and please have a great session today. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nur Azalia. First of all, I would like to introduce our guest speaker, Mr. Mohd Zain. Okay, today we welcome home the faculty's alumni, Mr. Mohd Zain bin Hassan. He graduated from the faculty in 2017, first cohort, right? Okay, he did his master's degree in systems engineering, and he also obtained his bachelor's degree from UTM, correct?
Correct.
Yes, BSc in computer science.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Mohd Zain is currently the General Manager for Ricoh Asia Pacific Service Delivery and Head of Ricoh Operations Center in Shah Alam. He describes himself as a senior IT leader with over 20 years of experience in multinational corporations. He also proudly associates himself to being a lead infrastructure architect. He is a people person, a visionary leader focusing in value creation to business through continual service improvements. I actually stalked his LinkedIn account, and I read that he was a fun and active manager who likes to join team building activities, and he proactively initiates most of the team bonding activities himself. He took the time to get to know his subordinates. So he sounds like a very interesting boss. For me, he is an example of someone practicing lifelong learning. He likes to acquire new skill set, knowledge, and also certifications. I can see that there is a long list of certificates associated to Mr. Mohd Zain. And recently I saw that he has a certificate in Microsoft Azure Fundamentals. Okay, to work with him is an enjoyable experience, said another ex-colleague. Okay. I'm confident that he is the right person to talk about the topic for today, which is Own Your Future. I'm eagerly waiting for him to start talking, and I'm sure that he is full of advices, tips, and tricks to help our students to find the right careers, and maybe also to make us think again whether we have chosen the right career path for ourselves. Without further ado, I pass the floor to Mr. Mohd Zain.
Right, thank you so much, Madam Moderator. Thanks to Dr. Nur Azadia, Dr. Hanzila. Um, yeah, I think you have set the bar very high. Let me try to share what I can. I'm going to share my screen. I prepared some little presentation. Um, Feel free to stop me, right? I don't really want to make this a very dry session. So if you have any questions, even any thought that you would like to share, please stop me and share that. Right. I hope everybody can see my screen. Raise your hand if you can.
Yes, yes, can.
All right. Yeah, so as what being introduced, you can call me Zain. I am an alumni of UTM, as a double alumni. I did my bachelor degree in Skudai and my master's in UTM Razak, KL. All right, so let's do a little ice breaking. So I have the QR code here. I would really love if everyone can scan the QR code and put together answers to these two questions. How are you feeling today? And second thing is, what is your favorite team? Let's do that. Okay, let me just show my screen. I have two answers here. People are telling that they feel great, they feel amazing. Jude,
Mr. Z, I can scan QR code.
oh, okay. Uh, Let me just share the link in the chat as
Yeah.
well. Give the chat button, it's here, right? Okay, I can see more responses, but 10 people responded. Excited, confused. Okay, it's a good combination. What about the next question? What is your favorite team in FIFA 2022? Did everybody see this question? All right, so yeah, I just want to have a little ice breaking just to get everybody, awake and especially now it's after lunch. I'm sure some of us feeling sleepy after having heavy lunch. So let me just get started and continue with the presentation. Right, so a little bit about myself. So I've been working since 2003. After graduation, I started my career or my education from as early as Sekolah Penasaran Tulintan in 1998, and then in 1999 I entered UTM Skudai, and I finished in 2003, Bachelor in Computer Science with first class degree. 2015, I entered Masters of System Engineering as a first cohort program. And 2017, this is a part-time program. I graduated in 2017 as a first class, and I was also awarded as a best student during that time. In terms of my journey, my career, I started my journey in IBM as a customer engineer, 2003, 2007, and then I joined HP It was an actually interesting journey because I started with a company called EDS, which then acquired by HP. And by the end of December 2018, after a series of acquisitions, spin-off, I left with DXC Technology, and my last post there was a head of Compute Services Asia. And after that, I joined Konica Minolta Malaysia as a head of IT for a short assignments before I decided to join Accenture as a head of solution and delivery, overseeing an operations in APAC and Japan. When I say APAC, it basically literally means Asia Pacific and Asia Pacific. And currently, I've been with Ricoh Asia Pacific as a general manager, and I'm leading a service delivery team for the entire Asia Pacific team. So in my current role, I'm responsible for an operations that cut across about 8,000 people in this region. So we focus on servicing our customers. I have direct reports in almost all countries in Asia Pacific, few in Japan, couple of people in Malaysia, Singapore, and many other places. My technical competencies, I held a couple of certificates, professional certificates in few areas. All right, so really what I want to talk today is about the future, right? Owning a future. So I was under the impression that majority of the audience today are the students. So I would like to focus a bit on how you can prepare yourself for your future career. As Mahatma Gandhi used to say, the future depends on what we do in the present. So what you do today will determine what you're going to do tomorrow, right? Okay, so in terms of my journey, again, this is, if I can summarize my life journey since 1999 until now. So this is kind of timeline that I've been through, like everybody else. After I finished my exam, then I started looking for a job. I was lucky because I finished my exam in February. First, I got a first job in IBM right of 2 weeks after I finished my exam. At the time, I didn't even know whether I passed my final exam in ATM, but I think I was quite lucky. In August, it was my graduation. So when I went for my graduation, I was already, about 5 months on the job. So I even owned a car back then, where during the graduation, many of my friends, many of my colleagues were still searching for jobs. 2006, I got married. 2007, I joined EDS company and I got my first child. I got my second child in 2008. I buy my first house 2010. I got promoted as a manager in 2011. I got my third child in 2012. I promoted as a senior manager at HP 2014. I continue back in my journey of education, go back to school 2015, enroll master's program. 2019, after I finished my master's, I decided to join Konica. And then the same year, I quit Konica to join Accenture. And right now, I'm with APAC with Ricoh APAC as a general manager. So why I'm showing this timeline? I just wanted to paint a picture to all of us here, in terms of my own journey, how I chart my own future, and there will be time in your journey where you may have to go back to school for you to develop your skills, enhance your skills, or at the same time you also have to contribute back to the community. So that's one of the main reasons why 2015 I decided to go back to school and study, at the same time share my experience from the industry to the students. Right, road to success. Everybody familiar with these little things here? Iceberg, right? So this is what most people see, even including myself, right? So we see success as an big iceberg. So you have to overcome this iceberg for you to get on the other side. But many people did not realize there are so many things that we have to do. It's not just about crossing the iceberg, but there are so many activities involved, right? Persistence in achieving your dreams, in working on your future, series of failures that you may have to go through, sacrifice, number of restless nights that you have to go through to finish your deadline, your homework, your assignments, and whatnot for you to achieve your final destinations. Discipline that you have to go through, wake up early morning to attend early class, your hard work, your dedications, that you have to go through. So these are the things that many people don't see, in your success, in your journey to success. Right. So many of us were presented with two options: either you win or you fail. All right. But many of us don't realize, in order for you to win, sometimes you have to fail. Sometimes you have to fail multiple times before you can even achieve a winning state, right? So I want to paint this picture to all of you, all of us today. Even if you have a small failure today, doesn't mean that you will be a failure forever, right? So the most important thing is that you keep working on the bottom part here, keep persist. You have to sacrifice your time. You have to have good discipline. You have to work harder. You really have to have your dedications. Make sure that you know what goals that you want to achieve. Even you have a second failure, third failure, fifth failure, at the end of the day, if you're really, really determined, you really, really put all your focus, you'll achieve winning. Right. How to find the right career? So again, I have this survey, a little survey here. If you can take a moment to, it's the same QR code, same link, but let me just release the questions. I normally have assistants, but I don't have any assistants today. All right. So you should be able to see third questions. What was your childhood dream and ambition? Can everybody see that? Okay, I can see some of the answers there. All right, so what I would like to do actually, I just want, so you can keep the answer to yourself, right? It is very, very important for you to do self-reflection. Let me just show this screen to you. So some people answer as police, army, astronomer, engineer. I wanted to be an astronomer as well when I was small. Cikgu. So for those who has put the answer, the secret who has put answers here, whenever you are having any doubts about what you wanted to do, always come back to these very basic questions. What was your childhood dream? What was your ambition when you were small, right? So this will always be a North Star. So it doesn't mean that, maybe when you were small, you wanted to be a cikgu, you wanted to be a teacher. This is your North Star. It doesn't mean that you really have to be a cikgu or an engineer or an army or astronomer. But This is a North Star for you to work towards achieving your dream. Yeah, it is very important that we do a self-reflection, come back to where we are, come back to our root. So if you don't know what you wanted to do, so I have in slide number 4 in this particular, side, I have 3 links for you to do. Maybe you can take this after the session. I'll just leave this link open. You can take one of these quizzes, or you want to take all 3, that's fine. So if you do not know your career interest, what you wanted to do, so you can try some of these quizzes, some of these tests. It will ask you a series of questions to see your career tendency, what you really wanted to do, and probably you can start thinking what you wanted to achieve along those lines. So it will, it's never be too late for you to do this. Sometimes we don't know what we wanted to do, especially with everything that's going on today. Since COVID, world has changed, right? We may have seen something that we never seen in the past. So it's always good that you do this survey to see your interest. All right. So other than that, there are certain things that you can ask yourself in terms of finding the right career for you. So one of the most important thing is you can reflect back with what you're doing today as a student, especially what subject that you like. Yeah, what really interests you? You like music? You like to do coding? You like programming? You like science? What would I like to work? So do you like to work in in a lab environment? You like to work on the sea? You like to work in an office space? So these are the kind of questions that will help you to find the right career choice for you, right? Who I like to work with? You like to work with teachers or with students? You like to work with societies, or maybe you want to be a politician, right? If you like to really work with people in society, get to know your skills. How am I already building my work skills through schools and hobbies? So what your hobbies can also help you to find the right career. And you have to do comparison between different careers. There's so many different careers in the world. So probably if you a combination of taking the test that I mentioned, the quizzes that I mentioned, with series of questions like this, ask yourself, and then you can do some comparison and start making a short list. Yeah, explore your future career. Get inspired by people. Go to LinkedIn, go to Google. Look for the keyword of careers that you like and see some of the people that could inspire you and find out about those people. Don't worry to become a stalker. Sometimes stalk is for a good reason, right? Because you want to see how people progress in their career. So probably you want to get inspired. Find about your your potential employers. Let's say you wanted to get into IT. So I came from IT background, so I can talk more about IT. Let's say you really wanted to get into IT, and let's say you wanted to be a full stack developer. So there are certain companies who really offer full stack and full stack developer kind of role. So find out about this kind of work. Find out about what kind of employers that we have. It can be in Malaysia, it can be overseas, and then find out about what qualifications that you need to obtain for you to get your dream work or dream job. Get some work experience. It could be one of the best thing to do. If you really want to build up your career, it's okay to get a job that not what you really wanted. As long as you get a job, right, an entry level job, that's okay. Don't be too choosy, and you can always develop your career from there. All right. So there are many things that you can do. There are many routes that you can go after you graduated. But here I would like to list down 4 things that you may want to consider after your graduation. So first of all, get a graduate job. I mean, this sounds like everybody says this, right? Explore jobs. Remember your first job doesn't tie to a particular career forever. Blah blah blah. So this is the part that I went through. Yeah, my first job, I got a job as a customer engineer in IBM. It wasn't really a fancy job. I mean, the title sounds fancy, customer engineer, like engineer, right? But what I really do, more often I crawl under somebody's desk and clean up their PCs, clean up the keyboard. That's really what I do. I used to carry a vacuum cleaner to people offices and do a preventive maintenance work, vacuum components in the PCs, clean up people keyboards. I often go to government offices. Few of my favorite government offices was JPN, Jabatan Pendaftaran, Custom, and also JPJ. I used to clean keyboard as sometimes while I'm doing this, then some other clerk comes and asks me to help me to do to clean up some of the things, like a cleaning lady, right? Even though I carry a title as a customer engineer, so that's where I started. The pay was not that good, but I think it was okay as an entry point for me because that's where I learned a lot of stuff. Number one, I learned how to be humble, right? I learned how to respect people. I learned how to talk to people. Yeah. I was an introvert person, but with this role, made me a different person, made me to talk a lot and connect with people, helped me to realize your title doesn't carry anything, right? It's your attitude that carry yourself. So let's be open, explore jobs, try to get any jobs, you know, as um, uh, as early as possible, right? And move on from there. Yeah. If you're really struggling to find a job, there are opportunities like internships, there are volunteering work, there are also part-time work that you can consider. There's a lot of things that you can do. Yeah. So if you want, you can connect with me. You can have some other conversation about what are the method for you to find internship opportunity. What are the method that you can find some volunteering works for you to do and some part-time work that you can do. Right. For someone who feel that they have they don't like to work with people, become self-employed can be an option. Running your own business, create a startup company, it can also be an option. Yeah. You have to always assess yourself. What can you offer? What's the difference that you're trying to make? Why should people buy from you? Why should people go to you other than other people? So those are the questions that you have to always ask yourself, especially when you want to start up your own business. Yeah. It's not just about how good that you can create your business plan. You have to really think about the value that you're creating, the differences that you're making. Yeah. And, be honest with yourself. Yeah. How can you survive self-employment? Because running a business, it can affect your life, right? If you're a single, you're young, maybe it's still okay. But especially if you have family, if you are a sole breadwinner for your family, being self-employed, you really need to have some strong financial backing because most of the time, the first 1 year of you running a startup will be a very difficult time. Yeah. So think about it. Pursue postgraduate study. I see a trend today that many people, pursue their postgraduate right after they finish their degree. There's nothing bad doing that. It's good. From a point, me being a manager or now as a general manager of a company, uh, a fresh graduate, a fresh postgraduate student who never have work experience is as good as a bachelor degree fresh graduate. I don't really differentiate that. Yeah. Um, Unless you really carry some additional value, yeah, in terms of your area of study, that you really have maybe have created some pattern, you have really come up with some innovation that nobody has done before, which really make you different from other candidates. Otherwise, postgraduate without any experience, doesn't carry too much of value. I mean, to be very honest. So you really have to ask serious questions to yourself, because going pursue postgraduate right away, it requires it costs you time and money. Yeah, you have financial backing, you have time. That's okay, go for it. But you need to make sure that you are certain of what you wanted to do, the reason why you wanted to pursue a study. If you just want to do a master's just for the sake of passing out time, you have to really ask yourself, yeah, unless you really have a clear goal that you really wanted to go, towards having a doctorate, that could be a different conversation altogether, yeah. And the kind of courses that you wanted to do, and the additional skills and knowledge that that you will possess from doing this study. So those are the questions that you have to really ask yourself. Right. So one more thing is, this is not very popular in Malaysia, but a concept that I think we should consider. Yeah, if I go back if I can rewind myself and go back to 2003 when I graduated from a degree, I would really want to take a gap year. Yeah, sometimes we have to take a pause, taking some time out. You go backpacking, go explore the world. You not necessarily want to go out of Malaysia. You can explore within the country, or you can go to neighboring country. Explore, right? Explore the world. Learn from the people on the street. Learn from people with the hardship work and all that. So this will build um, your skills that couldn't be taught in schools. Yeah, especially when it comes to planning yourself, planning your time, planning your journey. It builds your organization skills. It build you, make you ready, becomes more self-sufficient. Career development model. So you need to always ask yourself what your values are, your interests, your strengths, traits and ambitions. So I call it as a knowing yourself. Once you know who you are, understand yourself, then you can start exploring and explore options. What kind of industry that you can go for? What kind of strengths that you can go for? What are the career options for your degree that you have chosen? And then you can start focusing on your action planning, your goal setting, start to decide what you wanted to do, what kind of career that you want to go for, and things like that. And after that, you take action. Yeah, you start connecting with the employers through LinkedIn or any other means, or do a job searching and start getting experience. And this is basically a cycle, right? It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop right. You land your first job, and this is a cycle that I go through myself as well. So from time to time, day to day, month to month, year to year, I always do this, right? Do a reflection, in terms of what value that I have learned from this year, from this job. What strengths that I have carried with by doing this. It get myself to know myself better, and it get myself to explore more options that I can do. Not necessarily I must quit my job and go somewhere else, but I can always do enhancement of what I do today and make me a better person tomorrow. Yeah. So this is a cycle that I really encourage that all of us would, embark through and try to go. So many people focus on, if you see here, right, I put here strength. I didn't put anything about weakness. Yeah, it's not just because I'm a positive person, but I trust in something which I believe if you understand your strengths, you can always overcome your weakness. Your weakness doesn't matter anymore. As long as you know where your strengths are, use your strength, maximize your strength, you can automatically maximize your potentials and can overcome your weakness. Many people always think about their weakness, right? Have a fear of what if people say this and I don't have that. Yeah. So the moment you keep thinking about what if, your weakness, area that you're not so good, whatever you'll be, at that situation, doubtful with yourself. But you understand your strengths, use your strength to unleash your own potentials, and your weakness is, it doesn't matter anymore. Nobody will talk about your weakness. Are you career ready? Your career management. So a few things I would like to highlight here. Critical thinking is a key, yeah, especially when going towards getting a job, you already land into your first job and you want to building your career. Exercise sound reasoning, use analytical, use data, use fact, use knowledge to solve problems. It's something that will make you a different person than others. Yeah. So as an employer, we will always look at people with critical thinking, and we tend to award people with critical thinking differently. Yeah. So you get more chance for promotion, you get more chance for better development programs with the companies and all that. Using information technology, using application is also very important, especially now we are in the world where everything is digital. So use technology to solve problems and accomplish your daily goals, company goal is very, very critical. So there are 8 top employability skills that I've listed here, idea for you to explore. Yeah. Number 1, using initiative, being self-motivated. So how can you develop these kind of skills, right? Finish your work without being asked, work without being helped, but know when you need to ask, suggest new ideas. So this is about how you being self-sufficient, self-motivated, and come up with initiative. Organization skills. How do you plan your work? How you organize your time? So how do you develop this? While you're at school or at universities, you can help in organizing event, projects. Whenever there are some changes of plan, you need to be able to overcome that. Yeah. So prepare for the unexpected. Work under pressure and adhere to deadlines. So I think this is what we do today, right? Especially as a students, you always have deadline. Yeah. Somebody who always, asks for the extension, you really have to rethink about that, because in reality, once you get a job and you come to work environment, there's no way that you can ask to extend your deadline. If you have a deadline, that is not just a deadline. It's either it's a matter of life and death. Yeah. So you really have to finish your work. make a habit of now as a student, whenever you get assignments, finish before the deadline. Plan your time so that you can finish it. Prioritize your commitments inside and outside school. Ability to learn and adapt, this is also very important. Skills us as an employer. We really like to get people, our employees who can quickly adapt to the situations and like to learn to make their work better. So you can start applying this yourself, open to new ideas. Share your ideas. Don't be shy if you have something in your mind, something that you feel can be better. In a group settings, share it, especially when you do your group assignments. Share your ideas. Use feedback to improve. Listen from others, and also give ideas to others. Always put yourself forward to learn something new. This is something that I really, you know, I really believe in, because even for myself, I always learn. Every day I learn something new. Like earlier, the moderator said that I just acquired another certification in Microsoft Azure as a cloud certifications. That was a couple of months back. Now I'm sitting for another exam, which is an advanced level for that certification. So I continuously learning. I have in my calendar, every day I have a reminder to myself to spend about half an hour study something, study a new topic, not just something related to my work. I do study other things, even cooking skills. Yeah, there's no limit of what you can study. The most important thing is that you have to learn something new, learn new skills. Communication, interpersonal skills. Um, I want to stress this point because from my experience interviewing candidates, fresh graduate candidates, many people that we see could not present themselves well. Yeah. So please participate when you are given an opportunity to present or to speak within a big group of audience, or even if there is a chance for you to take part in debates. So please participate in those things, because that's where you can really practice and improve communication skills. So communication skills is like swimming, right? It is a skill that you have to practice. You cannot learn swimming from YouTube. You can watch YouTube which tell you how to swim, but without practicing it, you will never be able to swim. Same things like communication. You can learn, you can read all great books that you have in the library, but without practice it, you will never master the skills. Teamwork is very, very important when we start working, because you have to work with people. Yeah. So take opportunity whenever you have team assignments to participate in teamwork. Problem solvings. Yeah. When you look at problems, you have to start thinking about ideas, possible solutions, what you can do to solve those problems. Design thinking, analysis, data collections, and all that. Numeracy and IT skills. I don't have to stress how important it is in today's world. If you don't know how to use Excel, how to use PowerPoint, how to use email, I don't know how you're gonna work. Right? Put it as simple as that. So 8 skills that I've listed here. I really encourage all of us to work on it, develop these skills, and you'll be a better person tomorrow. Trust me. Right. When it comes to job searching, um, action planning is very important. What you want to do, you have to manage your activities. You have to assess your qualities. You have to build your network. This is what I mentioned. It's just a repeated of what I mentioned earlier, but in a different structure. Many people tend to, forget about activities, right? How many, if let's say if you are applying for jobs, you may have hundreds of applications, yeah. You need to keep track of everything that you do. You can't just keep applying, keep clicking, apply and forget, right? You have to really follow through. You really have to keep a tracker, yeah, what you have applied for, and what you have done, whether you have done any follow-up or whatsoever. Writing CV is very, very important as well. It's crucial because CV represents who you are. It's a first step for you before you can even be evaluated or being called for an interview. You have to decide on your content. I'll touch base in terms of some tips after this. Practice creating cover letter and practice to tailor your CV according to your job applications. That's quite important. Create online presence, develop interview techniques, work your recommend channel. I think you all know. Online presence, especially if you are somebody in tech industry, we as an employer, we would do some background check, look at any blogs that you have written, any content that you have, what you have been doing in LinkedIn, for example, if you have any quotes that you have published and you have shared. We sometimes even go to lawyer.net forum to see to take a look at the people and how they mingle in the social media. Resume rules. Assemble pertinent info. Make sure you organize your information by category. Be honest. Be professional. Tailor your resume is what I mentioned earlier. So you have to really study your job posting. That's why it is important that you have a strategy, right? So it's not just you keep applying 100 jobs and you don't get any single of it. So please read through the job description. Try to see whether those or that job is really something that you wanted to do. Understand the right content, and if that's really something that you wanted to do, something that you're interested to do, you need to probably you may want to apply the right keywords in your resume. Many companies use some tools or some applications that will look for keywords based on what we have posted. And if you are missing certain keywords, that will reduce the likelihood for you to get selected in the next round. Spelling mistakes, make sure you don't have any spelling mistakes. Be consistent with the tenses. Be professional. Email address. I've seen many people use personal email address that doesn't sound professional at all. For example, 1_Kelantan, right, at gmail.com. It's just not professional at all. So if you have something, some email address which is not really appropriate, don't use that. Create a new email address for your job searching. Use simple words. Avoid too much of jargons. Show, not tell. Yeah. So you don't have to put everything. Summarize your experience. Show it, because leave chance for you to tell a story once you are called for interview. You don't have to tell. You don't have to write books. You don't have to write essays in your resumes. Few other tips. Name your resume. So rule of thumbs: if you create a resume, create a file name with your first name. Format your resume. One pages is fine. You can have multiple pages. There's no rule says that you must have one page. Yeah, you can have 2 pages. That's fine for fresh graduate. So make sure that you put a single spacing. You don't just cram everything. You don't do a double spacing because that would be too much. Use appropriate font which is stand out. Don't use anything too fancy. Make sure that you have a clear name and contact info on top of your resume. Make sure that you do a proofreading. You can get your friends to read your resumes, do a proofreading, catch any typo and mistakes, and do some testing. Sometimes there are errors, right? You may have formatted your resumes nicely, follow all of these rules, but as when you save your file, there was some error triggered, and then if you never test it, you didn't try to reopen the file, you may have been sending a corrupted file, and that's just lost your chance to get considered for the job. Interview preparation, dress code, you have to Google a bit, find out the culture, the company, do your homework about the company, what products that they carry, what kind of customers that they have. Be warm. Prepare about 10 questions, top 10 questions, top 10 reasons for interest. You can Google all this. There are common things like, what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses. I mean, there's a lot of things that you can find in the internet. So let's just prepare those kind of top 10 question lists. And the most important thing is that the reasons why you're looking for the job or you want to work for the company. Some of the positive signs, some people didn't share this, but I would like to share this with everybody, especially if you have an interview, and let's say that it's supposed to be a 45 minutes meeting, but then you keep talking, and before you realize it's almost 60 minutes, right? It is a good sign most of the times if your interview really goes over allocated time, because it means that you have built a good rapport. Probably the interviewer wanted to know more about you. Especially if you ask about your availability, it's also a big good sign, because that shows the interviewer is really interested about you, and they wanted to understand when you can join them. When the company or when the interviewer started talking about their future plans and start discussing about some specific projects, that's I would say 75% to 80%, you are already getting the job, right? Because nobody wants to share details of the projects unless they're really seriously considering to hire that candidate. Especially when we give you, as a hiring manager, if I give you a specific date to get back to you, typically it's a positive things to look at, yeah. Because many times if you're not really sure about this particular candidate, we don't really commit on any dates, yeah. So it's good if you start hearing, okay, we will get back to you by this date. So in a way, it tells you that, okay, we are considering you. We also have candidate B that we would like to speak to and finalize or take it from there. Right, now you got a job, you are in your career, so career happiness cycle will start. Yeah. So this will be a cycle that you will go through for the next of your career path. Yeah. So it's a combination of multiple factors: job security, flexibility, recognition, importance, how you feel importance in the company, the workload being assigned to you, whether it's too much or too little. Sometimes too little is not good. Your work content, your salary, your work-life balance, learning ability, autonomy of power, your skills, whether you can get more skills, whether you have enough challenges, whether you have a career advancement, whether you have a good supervisions, the benefits, the perks, the commute distance of your work locations with where you live. This is all what I would call as a career happiness circle. Throughout your journey, you will see this, not everything, not and every time you'll get nice happiness experience in our work. There will time you have some negative experience in some of these areas, but this is just a circle of life. Yeah, so I just wanted to share this. as this is the reality of the real life. Yeah, not everything that we wanted is something that we can get right away. It will be a journey. You have to really consider all of these factors, especially when you want to get into a job. You have to assess, what are the career happiness that you may lose or you may gain in that job. So you really, it's all about a questions to yourself, a balance that you want, a delicate balance that you want to have. Right, so that's all in terms of my presentation. So is there any questions? We just look at the chat.
Thank you, Encik Muhammad Zain. Any questions from the floor?
Question from Penny Go. How do you look at the job market now? That is a very broad questions. So what do you mean by job market now? I think it depends on your industry, your career interest as well. There's always opportunity for you to get employed. That's for sure. Did I answer your questions?
Yes, I wanted to ask you, right, Mr. Zain, how can a student equip themselves to the work environment after finishing their postgraduate study?
How do you want to?
How can we equip ourselves, or how can we prepare ourselves as a
Right.
graduate after completing our
Okay,
tertiary?
so I would like to reflect back to what I shared about the top employability skills. Yeah. So if you can master all these 8 skills, you'll become a top employee. As simple as that. So being self-motivated, organized, being organized, ability to work under pressure, ability to learn, ability to adapt, ability to communicate well, ability to work well with your team, have a good problem-solving skills, have a good IT skills. How you can use data evidence in your daily work. These 8 things will really make you a standout, employees. So these are the things that you can prepare yourself right now, for you to be prepared for your next career. It sounds cliche, but this is the reality. Yeah, there's no rocket science. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you whether you have to, really work on Python, R, and all that fancy stuff, right? Go to very basic. So these are the very basic 8 skills that we have to develop to be a good employee. JobStreet, LinkedIn, I would say LinkedIn. I'm not a fan of JobStreet. And in LinkedIn, you can connect to a real person. You can see more about the company. You can also look at who are the people in the company. You can build your network. If you really love that job and you really want to get a job, you can start building connections with the people in that company. Yeah.
Mr. Zain, I got a question for you. Just now you got mentions about the resume. We call it as curriculum vitae. Resume lah. Is an important tool to communicate with the new employer. So, for the writing of the resume, normally we should take what is our planning, how to plan to write a good resume. Thank you.
Right. Yeah, probably I can organize a class just to talk about resume because it will take it will take a long time. Yeah, but the key thing is that be yourself. The most important thing is that be yourself. Yeah, whenever you create a resume, take it as an opportunity for you to summarize your skills, your experience, and show who you are. Right? That's a very basic of resume. There are so many different formats that you can use. There is no single format that will work. It's all about how you tell a bit of summary about yourself, highlight your key strengths, um, and that's it. Yeah, the rest is all about whether that the job is really suitable for you. Yeah, if you have a resume of somebody coming from mechanical industries with little or no skills in IT or programming, and you're applying for a job for service desk, for example, it's very unlikely you'll get it, right? Because it just doesn't tell you at all. Yeah. So tell a story about yourself. Make sure that you customize your resume according to the job that you really wanted to get. Apply the right keywords, no grammar mistake, no typos, use the right font, right spacings, not too cramped, no room for error. It looks nice. Chances are you might catch someone's eye. Okay, that will be my honest opinion.
There is a question from Dr. Ruzi there. Thank you,
That's
Dr.
not
Ruzi.
a question.
Yeah.
The compliment.
I didn't know that. You never said that to me.
Mr. Zain, just now when I joined in the we call it the talk for this session, I joined around 2:30 and I saw that you are going to share with us the three link to do our self-assessment. Are you going to share to us by email or just inside the chat?
I did share it in the link. Let me just share it again. Can you find it there? Or let me just paste the full link here for the benefit of everybody. So to answer Dr. Rose's question, how do I manage my time? I don't know, I just manage. Priority metrics, I think that's one of the critical things to do. You have to really prioritize. If everything is priority, somebody told me this in the past, right? If everything is priority, then nothing is priority. You really have to, determine what's priority is and work down the list based on the priority. Yeah, if you have 10 assignments to do, which one is the closest to the deadline? Which one carry the highest uh, carry carry mark, right? You call it carry mark still, right? So work down your priority. Which one is the most easiest to do? Which one is the most difficult to do? So work out your priority. And of course, another thing is that having a good, support from your family is very, very important. Like in my case, I have a strong support, from my spouse, from my wife, from my children. So that really support me in, doing what I was doing. And just to share, when I took my master's, it was the most difficult time in my career because during the same time we had the busiest project, the biggest project that we ever had in HP. That was a time when HP company was about to split into two companies, and there were ton of activities, a series of projects, programs that we have to do in order to split the company into two in terms of IT. We have to build, numerous number of servers and all that. Things that we used to do in 1 year, we have to cram into 1 month. And all that I have to do during my weekdays, while on the weekend I have to, do my study and do my homework. From your great experience, what is the most challenge in your journey to be a great inspired person? I never think myself of somebody that you can inspire. But if your question is about what is the most challenging thing in my journey, I would say um, it's always about managing people. Managing people, it's difficult, right? It requires so there's I have somebody who used to mentor me, who always remind me of one thing. If you lead people, if you have a chance to be a manager, if you have a chance to lead people, be a leader. Don't just be a manager. And when you lead someone, lead from your heart, not lead from your head. Yeah. So care about people. When you care about people, you get along with the people and things get better, things get easier. Make it personalized. I'm not a politician anyway.
Okay, maybe Dr. Has, any question from FB Live?
I haven't received any question from FB Live. In the meantime, I have a question. You are now a GM. So, in your opinion, where or when did your character building started? Because you need someone with great character to be a GM. Is it during the studies or during work?
I think it started from semesti Sekolah Menengah Sains Teluk Intan.
Okay, still in school.
I went to boarding school, right? As many people would know, it's a very good place for you to build your character.
Yeah, okay. So it started from school, and then I think maybe because boarding school you were independent and all, so it helps you to be more confident in entering the world or something like that, no?
Yeah, I think it prepared me to enter the real world, because in boarding school you will be facing with a lot of challenges. You name it, right? So one day you lost your, your shirt, you lost your shoes. So how do you survive in school, right? So these kind of things that make you prepare to face the real world. It's not always, the real world is not always green. Yeah. So there's so many things. You need to know how to maneuver, and how to be successful, how to deal with difficult people, how to deal with difficult conversations and all that. So learned it from the very beginning. I learned it from as early as when I was 13 years old in boarding schools, and I keep learning. So every day is a new learning for me. Even today, I learn something new. So never stop learning, and don't just learn, apply what you have learned into reality.
Okay, thank you. All right. I don't think we have any questions from the Facebook. Anyone here has any last question?
Yeah, I do have. My name is Ricoh.
Okay.
Okay,
Zain.
okay, go ahead.
I think it's very interesting to get to know you. You are from Ricoh. This is a very spontaneous question because I've been working for the past 10 years in the private sector, and every time I go to the offices, they will use the Ricoh printing machine. We call it a Xerox machine. So
Right.
I experienced before one time when I work in the professional company, valuation company lah. So they got a new machine. They tell me this machine is rented. Every day they pay a rental, and every time they will need to change the cartridge. And when the cartridge finish, we cannot print. So I just want to ask Mr. Zain, what is the main like the future in our our career, okay, that we are going to face in this technology world? What is the main her main
Right.
yeah yeah
I
that
think I got your questions right. What future holds for us? What COVID has teach us? I would like to ask that questions back. What COVID has teaches us? Work from home, right? Distance learning, technology. Yeah, people who never use Zoom now they know how to use Zoom. Yeah, there's so many things, right? So technology is the future. Technology is current, basically. It's not future anymore. So we have learned so much during COVID. We have also learned about appreciating our life, appreciating people around us. So those are the things that will stay. COVID may go, but our learning experience from COVID will stay. Yeah, our exposure to technology will stay and will reshape the way we think. In Ricoh, particularly, we have shifted ourselves from being known as a copier printer company to become a digital services company. We made use of COVID to rethink about our strategy, and that's why Ricoh hired me, because one of the things that I do for Ricoh is I created, I reinvent digital services for Ricoh that we are now moving ourselves to become IT company. We are offering IT services. We are offering things like hybrid, workplace solutions. So many companies have shifted to offer hybrid, where you can have 50% of people work from office, 50% work from home, or in any other mixes that they would like to do, because they see that we can work remotely, and productivity doesn't really go down by letting people go down, by letting people work from home. And in fact, in some companies, they have seen even a better productivity when we allow people to work from home, because that will reduce the stress of people go through traffic and all that. So many companies have shifted into a permanent arrangement like this, and they can also reduce the office spaces that they consume, which in result reduce their expenses, operation costs, things like that. So as a company, we try to understand the future and make ourselves ready to offer those similar, like all of you, as a future employees of any companies. So think about what future brings, what COVID has teach us, what will be next coming. And also don't forget about sustainability goals. That's also something which all companies are really seriously thinking about, because in order for us to, in order for us to live, peacefully, in order for us to have our child and grandchild live in this planet, we have to start, reducing our carbon footprint and prepare ourselves to have a better world. Actually, there's a question from Aisha. You would like to ask question, Aisha?
Yeah, Aisha, I want to ask. Aisha, you raise your hand. You want to ask something?
Dia say hi je kat text box. Salam perkenalan. Okay. Okay, Dr. Has.
Thank you very much, Cik Mohamad Zain. It was very fruitful and very interesting, right, Penny? Penny likes him so much. Okay, thank you everybody for joining us.